Hello there folks, we are back again with another Nürburgring video. First off, a bit of an apology. I'd wanted to get this video out sooner than I have, but been busy. It's been a busy sort of 10 days or so. Also game time's been a little down, playing a bit of Starfield and Battlefield, Diablo as well. So just getting stuff done, not having enough time, so racing's taken a bit of a back seat. So we are on a race here at the Nürburgring. This is the rolling start. I've started off doing it against the AI because, as it turned out, racing, as I have commented, around this circuit is very, very different to doing hot laps. And that's something I'll get onto a bit further around. We only have a bit more time to discuss it. But, you know, here's a huge lunge. This is one thing about the AI. They're a bit stupid going around this first corner. And actually, we tag that guy there. Round he goes. And, yeah, that's a safety point deduction for me. So, yeah, the classical Nürburgring start. The AI is pretty stupid there. So I've been doing quite a few hot laps, learning the circuit. I've got to a reasonable level. I've now got my lap times down into the 8:22, 8:23, that kind of window. I think there's definitely time in the teens there, no bother at all. But doing it on hot lapping versus racing, this is something that you know, it's very easily to get drawn into doing this. You know, I did this for the first 6 months of ACC. I just did hot laps, learn circuits, setups. I never actually did any racing. And that actually, while good for single lap pace, does present a problem. Because when it comes time to race, even against the AI, although more so online, it's a whole different set of skills that are required. And also racing with other cars on there, you have to approach corners differently. You know, you need to know the circuit a little bit better, because things like sight lines into braking points, you know, doing hot laps, you can use visual cues at the side of the track, maybe curbstones, you know, little roads at the side of the track, that type of thing, brake marker boards, all these things. But quite often, if you're racing really close to someone, these things are obscured. You can't see them because the car is in the way. So it really requires track knowledge on a different level, and also an anticipation as to what the other car is going to do. Now, the AI is really quite quick around here. It's been really well set up, I think. The problem is they do still do some erratic things. They can put brakes on in the middle of the corner. As you'll see, this Bentley in front of us, about halfway around the lap, really wants past the yellow Ferrari. So you see him moving all over the place. And even racing against the AI, you are going to incur safety rating deductions. So, you know, you've really still got to be mindful. So he's on the grass there. Now I have to be really careful here because I've had to back out. And just before we get into further than that, just a quick note, you'll see coming around this corner, I have improved my setup. The car is much more stable coming around this corner, no problems at all now, so we've got that cracked. But yeah, so this Bentley, he's trying all sorts. So you really, part of racing is you've got to learn to try and anticipate what the person in front of you is doing. Now, the AI can do things erratically, but they also are quite consistent. So it is a double-edged sword. It's easier to predict what an AI car is going to do at times, you know, versus a real-world driver. But sometimes you're anticipating the AI, say, going flat out around a corner, and they'll brake mid-corner. Now, a real-world person wouldn't do that. So, you know, it does take a bit of learning. And like I said, this circuit is really challenging. One, because it's so long. You've got to know the circuit really well. Like, look at that there, right? Really, really difficult to judge. The closing speed, all of a sudden there, I was right on the back of him. I had to really back off. But yeah, this circuit, racing against the AI, or racing against anyone, it's so narrow. It's so fast at points. Like, it's really, really challenging. And, you know, it's something that's just going to take time to learn, and quite often things will happen that's completely out of my control. And I think you just have to, you know, particularly when I do online races, I'm just going to have to accept that sometimes you're going to have an accident, or you're going to you're going to get hit, and it's nothing you can do about it. But like I said, we are getting better, and I'm going to try and do more and more races and drop the hot. Now I've got my setups sorted. I'm going to drop the hot lapping so much now and I think my times will naturally then come down the more I race. So it's really just about learning now just how to finish a race on this, because you will see coming up that I don't finish this race. You'll notice this video is only 12 minutes long. This is a 25-minute race. So I think you can see what happens. And it's just going to take a bit of time, and it's going to take a bit of practice. I mean, look at this Bentley now. He really wants past this Ferrari. So actually, I'm hanging back. You'll hear at various points I back out the throttle, just giving myself a little bit of space, a little bit of thinking space, so I can react to what they're doing. And I think that's one of the key, challenges to survival on this circuit. Doing this, backing off against the AI is actually a good tactic. Doing it against real world drivers, you'll notice if you look at my screen, there's a Bentley behind me, and even against the AI, he takes a dive up because I'm backing off to give the people in front some space and time. And you've got to also be mindful, if you're backing off, the person behind you doesn't know you're going to back off, and therefore they can either hit you from behind or they are going to overtake you like that Bentley did. Even the AI is going to take a lunge down the inside. A real world driver won't have the sort of programming of the AI. I might just smash you off the circuit. So, that does... Oh, Lamborghini there, did well to avoid him. And that's just another example there. It just comes on you really, really quickly. You can turn a corner, you're going quickly, and then this car is just in the middle of the circuit, and that's part of the challenge of this circuit. It's fast, it's blind, it's narrow. The walls are really close, so if you go off, there's not much room for a car to sit at the side of the road. So yeah, it's a massive challenge, and I think racing against the humans, you are going to have eyes in the back of your head as well as in front of you. But that being said, it just comes with time and practice. And when you watch the virtual Nürburgring 24-hour, which was this weekend, it's hugely impressive what these guys can do. So it can be done. There's loads of people do it. I guess it just takes time. If anyone has had the opportunity to watch any of the Nürburgring 24-hour stuff, and particularly Max Verstappen's on board from his stream, which, when you consider what he's doing, I mean, he finished qualifying for the Grand Prix, he went, and then raced the night stint till midnight around the Nürburgring. His team were first. He then got up, and I believe he did a stint in the morning before he went and did the Imola Grand Prix, which he won. And Team Redline won the Nürburgring 24-hour. So, it's obviously, very doable, and there's a lot of room for me to grow and improve doing this. And I think this circuit presents the ultimate challenge in sim racing. It presents, if you can be good here, and if you can learn to race well here, you can probably learn to be a good racer anywhere. So I think, I'm going to persevere with this. I will, probably get a bit rusty on some other circuits for a little while, because I probably won't be doing a huge amount of racing. But as we close right up in the back here, these guys, obviously there's a little bit of a blockage. So yeah, as you'll notice coming up now, we're back onto the GP circuit, and you'll see I actually can make up quite a few spaces here, because I know this circuit inside out. I've done so many races on it, so I know, again, I've raced the AI a lot on it, so I know what the AI are going to do. I know where they're quick, I know where they're not to. So it's very easy for me here to make up time and spaces, and it perhaps highlights just how much of a novice I am on the sort of Nürburgring itself. As you can see, I find, I've dropped the AI difficulty down to 95%. Normally I would race on a circuit like the Nürburgring here that I know well, the GP circuit, I would race on 100%. but I drop it down to 95, and you can see I'm very easily able to sort of make moves, dive up the inside, because I know what the AI is going to do, I know where they're quick, and I can get around them, and I have good pace. So that isn't a problem, but it does highlight where I'm currently at pace-wise. 95% AI, I'm not really on, or maybe matching the pace of the AI around the Nordschleife. So yeah, there's definite work to be done, and it's just going to be a case of getting the time to do it. I mean, some of the areas of the circuit I'm weak, unfortunately, are the sort of what I would say second half of the lap, the stuff that comes after the carousel, and it takes you 5 minutes to get there. So, you know, practicing that section of the track it's not as easy as learning a normal circuit. You know, it takes time. So I will improve. My next video coming up, when I get back to it, will be a race against real world people, where I'll see if I can find a way to get the footage of the qualifying and of the race itself, you know, and I'll see if I actually can finish the race, which would be a mighty achievement, or just avoid being into trouble. And again, it's going to be a tricky one. Sometimes if you want to avoid being in trouble on an online race, you're actually better starting at the back and trying to work your way through the field. But given the first corner here at the Nürburgring, I'm not sure that's a very good idea. So, you know, I'll see what I can do. I'll make no promises. And then a little note, I did share yesterday that the Stig, ex-Stig, Ben Collins, he has now started a sim racing channel. He did his first video with a guy called Matt Armstrong, who renovates supercars, does a bit of sim racing. And they did a video of them, of Ben's first attempt around the Barcelona GP circuit. And as it turns out, Ben did a time of 1 minute 48, I think it was his quickest time, and I can do low 44s, high 43s. So it turns out I'm quicker than the Stig. And here you'll see what I'm not good at, and there's the end of the race. My mistake, went round on the outside, touched the grass, and yeah, that's the race over. So there we are.